The scenes in Thornton Road and Belgravia Road, comparison with what we're experiencing today, it was drama from 1 minute to the next.
Our people were beaten, tear gassed, shot at and arrested like animals.
There were police beatings of children in Thornton Road.
These events compelled young people like Robbie Coline and many others to join in Umkhonto we Sizwe in defense of our people.
He and Robbie van Niekerk came to me one day and said to me, they're struggling with the Roman Catholic brothers who were running St. Columbus High School, where they were to establish an SRC. The authorities were dead against the establishment of an SRC. They succeeded in finally getting an SRC going, which awakened, I think, in Robbie another sort of awareness. It was from that point onwards that Robbie on his own had actually joined MK forces.
This is actually Robbie's necklace that he wore all the time. At that time I gathered that he was part of the ANC because of the colours. More than that I never knew until after his death.
Coline was a very disciplined child. She was a very responsible person.
She was definitely not a violent person, so up to today I wonder what stirred her as far as joining Umkhonto we Sizwe.
And she was very serious about her involvement.
The Robbie I knew was a sensitive, highly motivated political animal. I have writings of his about how he analyzed, for example, the siege of Quito-Carnaval, absolutely brilliantly, as far as I'm concerned, and how he uses that as an example of how the state can be beaten.
We're talking of leaders here, and leadership is that group, always a minority group, who actually say, I'll draw from the reserves of courage, from the reserves of faith, from the intellectual traditions that I'm heir to, and raise the bar a little higher.
Robbie came to me and said to me, Uncle Basil, I must go to a Catholic youth conference. I think it was CRY. And he said, well, he needed to be away for the weekend. But he would be back the Sunday evening.
In that last week, she decided that she's tired of running around. She's coming home. The Saturday itself, she went around to all those parents of either children that was in prison, children that were on the run, children that were in exile.
She gave them all a rose. You know, she had a bunch of roses.
It was just a casual visit, like just giving people flowers. I didn't know what was going through her mind.
And she had one rose here in the house, but I didn't know what the meaning of it. It's a rose and I'd just leave it there. And she said to me, ach, daar my roos gaat ook al weer dood. But all the time, there was a sign.
It was a sunny winter's morning, the 23rd of July. It was around about 11 o'clock where we just sat outside. She sat on my father's motorbike. We just had a nice, cool chat.
I traveled from Bonteheuwel and I met her in Mowbray, and she gave me my explosives. From there we parted and we still hugged each other and wished each other luck in whatever operations we were heading that night.
We were all working at a nightclub, like just to earn extra money. And that specific night, Coline wasn't on duty, and we were all sitting like in the reception, and we heard the bomb blast, but we didn't know it was a bomb blast.
It was still on the way home that I heard the explosion, and it was just because it was a major blow.
We all heard this blast. My mind instantly went to Robbie.
The Monday evening at 6:20 when my mom came back home, she told me she's got the newspaper and 2 people died in Athlone. And she said it was a woman and a man died. And my mom asked me, well, if Coline didn't come home, could this be her?
She said to me, ach, mommy, don't talk nonsense.
Went to the police station and they asked us to escort them to Salt River Mortuary. There, my mom went in first.
I didn't recognize her.
And she came out again, and I remember clearly As I walked through that corridor, on my left was Robbie's body, and then I had to go around the corridor where Coline's body, and I've never seen Robbie in my life, I've never met him before, and here I had to face his corpse.
In spite of the fact that we could see clearly it was Robbie, it was a very gruesome picture.
Visually, I had to search as to what I can identify that this is my sister.
And then I looked at Selena, and I hugged her, and I felt strength.
We were deeply shocked by his death.
After Robbie's death, I realized that I'd lost a part of me. It was like empty. There was something missing.
It was a massive funeral. But I think that the size of the funeral had to do with the fact that there were these two people from two different communities, one from Athlone, one from Bonteheuwel, coming together. Both of them had allegiances both within the political movement and outside of it in the religious movement.
I don't know how we got to the graveyard. To be honest, I don't remember the day. All I remember is going to the church, somebody asking me to do the reading. Further beyond that, I can't tell you what happened.
There was this huge standoff between the funeral people themselves and the cops.
The policemen were on the church roof. They were in the church, they were outside. They were chasing people, they get in the wall, they shoot the people, tear gas the people and so on. It was terrible that day.
I think the role of the police was very clear. Funerals were the rallying point. They were the places where politicization took place. And if they weren't broken up, the politicization and the camaraderie and the sense of solidarity would just increase.
How many of our people have been killed? How many of them are still hidden? Some of them we presume dead. Some of them, at least we found the bones. Some of them we've been lied to and said they committed suicides. None of those do I accept. And I think if we stand for truth and liberation, then it is our duty to question all these things.
I miss Robbie because of the music and the singing and all the songs that come on, the hip-hop, the Bob Marley and even Black Noise when they perform. And when you hear all this music, then I think, where would he be with his music today? And we'll all be having fun.
He loved music and liked to often perform and hear South African Sunshine. That was his favorite song.
She was a leader, she was a true leader.
Coline was hugely courageous. It's one of those feisty young women. Robbie was a hugely passionate person. In some ways, in my mind, quieter than Coline, but passionate.
He was a pleasant youngster, normal youngster, somebody I thought who had great promise.
Very proud of him because of what he lived for and what he died for.
I'm very proud of her. She can make a contribution towards the country.
They are role models, I think, to our youth of today, that if there's an enemy that destroys your youth, if it's an enemy that destroys the fabric of your community, then that enemy needs to be fought. That enemy needs to be defeated.
I'll get upset maybe when his friends come around, and we will cry and laugh at the same time because we talk about all the good times and whatever. But just remembering him will sort of bring tears to our eyes.
It's part of a healing process that we must keep their memories alive.
Roar, young lion, roar, 'cause we are at war once more. Now our enemy be hidden unlike before.